And now the immeasurable thoughts. Immeasurable means there is no measurement. There is no measurement for in the sentient beings. The human being. I think there is a measurement. You can sort of say how many billions of them are there. But then when it comes to sentient beings, the beings that, how many sort of beings are there, then of course there's no measure. So this, the thoughts that we were talking about, 4 immeasurable thoughts needs to be needs to be for all the sentient beings. And when we talk about sentient beings, then there is no sort of like a partition. There's no sort of, for example, there's no no beings that you may love, and no beings and no sort of like a no identification, no sort of like a specific kind of a pinpointment that you can sort of point that these are the part that you don't love, these are the part that these are the sort of like beings that you may be loving, you should love, you should compassionate about, but these are the beings that you don't have to be compassionate. You don't have to. There is no such thing. So all the beings needs to be equally loved. So that is the reason why this the thoughts should be these thoughts should be immeasurably sort of developed, immeasurably developed. And why Buddhists always say immeasurable? And the Buddhist is the only one, the Buddhist teaching is the only teaching that they are talking about immeasurable love, immeasurable compassion, immeasurable bliss, and immeasurable whatever that is, equanimity. All these immeasurable that Buddhists always talk about. Why? Because Buddhists they understand, the Buddha Shakyamuni understood that all the beings are, how do you say, all the beings are equally, how do you say, equally suffering. And we Buddhists commonly talk about all the beings are being your mother. All the beings are being your mother, father, and your relative. That's the reason you have to be loving all of them. That's also the one of the reason why it should be the one. But I don't think this is the only reason why you should be always loving immeasurably. But the other reason is that all the beings are equally suffering. That is also one of the reasons that you have to be compassionate. Suffering from where? From ignorance. Suffering by their own ignorance. And ignorant we are talking about is the ignorant about the equanimity. That is the thing. Ignorant about the equanimity makes them unnecessarily suffer a lot. Unnecessary. If there is a suffering called necessary suffering, then of course maybe it's okay because it's a necessarily sort of a suffer. But and there is no suffering that is called necessary, I think. So it's a very much like an unnecessary suffering. You don't really have to suffer a lot, suffer anything, but you are suffering. Why? Because of ignorance. So it's a very sad, for that reason they are very sad. We have to be feeling very sad. Sad in the sense we have to be compassionate for that reason. And that is the only reason why we should be compassionate for immeasurable size of the people, beings. That is the thing. So you have to understand why, because many people, they don't understand. Many people, they don't understand. I mean, many people ask me same questions many times. Why do we as a Buddhist need to always think about the immeasurable sort of compassion and immeasurable size of people and all beings and all those things, and why can't we sort of like go like a Catholic or Christianity or like some of the religion? They say, some of the religion even say that you have to be love those people who are loving you. Who loves you, then you should love them. Otherwise, you shouldn't be. So there is no reason why you should be loving. So this is also, there is some religion they say like that. And some religion says, the only human beings are the one that's subjected to be loved, but not non-human animals, like in animals. This is not subjected to be loved, because the animals, some of the animals also, I mean the certain animals also are sort of given by the God to be eaten. So you have to sort of cut them, chop them into pieces and then eat it. There's no problem, because God has given this to us, so we have to eat. So fish has to be eaten, chicken has to be eaten, poor chicken. And then this sort of thing. And then of course many countries, they eat the dog. So of course they can easily say the dog has to be eaten, because God has given to us, because it's delicious. Simply the reason why you have to eat is it's delicious. So therefore, and then horse should be eaten. In Switzerland there's a trap. There is a kind of a trap or whatever. There are some group that they eat horse, then donkey, maybe no problem. So then almost you can eat everything, and then of course then slowly you can, I don't know if it is a religion or not, but sometime then slowly you can, one day you can eat a human being also, because it's also salty, it's very, very delicious. I mean, I don't know, I'm not making a joke out of it, but it's really like the fear is there. You have to be very sort of like careful, so not to be sort of like trapped by, like not to be sort of trapped by that. So therefore, we have to be very sort of like not to be abusing. We should not be abusing anybody in this world, like immeasurable beings, all the beings. So that is very, very, very important. We as a human being, or maybe human being, non-human anyway, all the beings we have a tendency to sort of get used to, that very strong tendency to be getting used to it, something. It's like addiction. For example, right now we can abuse the beings. I mean, we can abuse the animals, but then this kind of abusive activities can be sort of like addicted. Right now, if right now, from today, from very now, if you sort of like manage to sort of keep yourself little aware of how bad to abuse animals, how bad to abuse the bird, how bad abuse even the mosquitoes, even the small beings like crawling on the street, like I don't know, small bees or something like that. How bad to abuse them, to sort of like ignore them, to deny them. You should keep on telling yourself. That is what we call bodhicitta. You have to really be coming from immeasurable thoughts, like definitely like a building from the sense of equanimity, and then happiness, and then that's slowly compassion and love. If you do it very nicely, then you can then you will be able to keep yourself in the track, in the sense that you will be able to sort of carry on the compassion, the process of compassion, process of love, and process of the taking care of others. So you'll always be good boy, good girl. This is the main idea why the 4 immeasurable thoughts are needed to be practiced. Otherwise, otherwise what will happen is that if you don't take care of the insects and don't care of the small dogs and small birds and small rats and small bugs and all these things, if you don't take care of it, okay, this is a small one, this is okay, abuse it, okay, it doesn't matter, because there's no law. We have law of karma that we will be suffering as a result, but that we don't care. As long as there's no police to sort of catch you and put you in a jail. But there's nobody will say that, okay, you abused a bird, so you have to go to jail. No one will say that. So of course, as long as nobody is out there to put you in a jail, doesn't matter. Abuse them, kill them, kill the dogs, kill the animals, kill the horse, kill the sheep and goats and all these things in the name of survival. You have to eat, and this and that. And you don't have to eat. You can survive. If that is really a survival, then I don't know what I can say. What can I say? That there's nothing, Okay, this is a survival, you have to survive. If you don't eat, you don't survive. So of course you should eat. What to do, unfortunately. But we can survive. There is a lot of things that you can make yourself survive. So you don't have to eat an animal that is moving and happily there, and they are very happy, running around. They're very happy, and you catch and then cut their head off, and and open peel their skins and all these things, live. So you don't have to abuse anybody that much, But we do that because we are addicted. We are getting addicted, and now we could do that, and then we will definitely have a more sort of like a more daring, We can, from first little small animals, and then bigger animals, and then these animals. First, of course, you say only some animals. We are eating some animals, not much, but some animals. Some of them say useless animals you eat. Like, for example, when I was young, I went to Nepal for the first time in Nepal. They eat, how do you say? They eat goats. And no chickens. They have no tradition to eat chickens, and it is not compassionate or anything else, but just no tradition to eat chicken. So they don't eat, like a Tibetan. Tibetan never eat chicken. They don't even know that this is something to be eaten. So they never eat chicken. And Nepal is also, the Nepalese, they don't eat chicken. All the anime. When I was very small, I went there. They don't know. But then they only the goats there, and sheep. They don't have a sheep anyway. I don't see any sheep. So and the buffalo, for example. They eat buffalo, the male buffalo. They kill. The female buffalo never eaten, because they say the female buffalo gives milk, and a lot of the very and also the babies, a lot of babies milks. So female buffalo you can't eat. So it's like naturally, this is not a law of like a Buddhist law or Hindu law or Christian law. No, it's just their own sort of made up law. A very nice, pretty nice law anyway. They're saying that the female buffalo shouldn't be eaten. So they'd never eat. And if somebody eats that, everybody will say, this family is very bad. They even eat the female buffalo. It's very bad. They are very rude. This family is very shameless, and this and that. But then, because they let the male buffalo to be eaten, because that they let the goats to be eaten. Nowadays, I'm not that old. I'm not 80 years old or 90 years old. No, I'm already now I can see female buffalo or male buffalo, whatever. All the buffaloes are now eating. All the chickens, goats, whatever it is there will be eaten. There's no doubt about it. And now, of course, many people are killing many people. They just kill and doesn't care. Oh yeah, it's a small valley. In small valley, always the news that says, somebody killed somebody. 18 years old killed 3 people this morning. Some, the 25 years old killed 30, 40 people killed this afternoon, yesterday afternoon. And also that these newses, before, when we hear this news for the, like a first time, everybody was like, wow, very bad. Who is it? Very shameless. Who did this? It's like a big news. Now, no one cares. Who kills who doesn't matter. It's like a okay, almost an okay issue. Or issue is like okay. Maybe not only okay. It's of course, of course somebody has to kill somebody. It's okay, of course, something like that. It's like a very much well accepted, something like that. So it's getting worse. Why? Because we were once let ourselves to be abusing, to abuse animals. So then, of course, literally the addiction, or whatever you may call the tendency to be applied on human being, no problem. And then, of course, it's almost the same routine, of course. And then this gets worse and worse and worse now, Now, then you kill yourself. Before, when I was small, I never heard that there is a suicidal kind of issue. I never heard of it in our society. No. Nowadays, lots of them, especially the young people, they just kill themselves very easily. And no one cares also. The parents, maybe they care when they see that their children were killed by themselves. Maybe 2-3 days of mourning, 2-3 days of sadness, maybe. But then that's it, finished. The society always almost accept the suicidal case. So it's getting worse and worse in terms of this compassion and loving kindness and this sort of thing. Because we were not able to follow the immeasurable thoughts from beginning. That is the reason why we are having a lot of problems. I'm not saying the other religious followers has to follow the Buddhist follower. I'm not saying that. They have to have their own religion, they have their own beautiful things to be followed, and no problem. But Buddhist people should really be following the Buddhist teaching, that's for sure. And that's not happening. That's very upsetting, you know. That's very upsetting and, you know, very, very sad. Like you guys, you know, that's it. You know, now I don't have to talk a lot, but just, you know. So you got to be careful. One should be very careful from day one. You know how to be taken care. You should not be. This is the reason from the point of view of four measurable thought, or from the point of view of the bodhicitta vow or bodhicitta path. You really need to. You should not have any partition or any sort of sectarian or something like that in terms of the animal, in terms of beings, you know, and you should not, because then it will get worse and worse and worse. If you start from having a partition or having a separation, say this part of the beings needs to be loved and this part of the being should not be loved. You know, if you sort of like if you start to put a partition, then you will be. There's no doubt that you will get worse and worse and worse, because you know this is our nature to sort of get addicted. You know, if you can kill this animal, like you can sort of like you can feel easy to kill female buffalo. I mean the male buffalo. Then why not? One day you can feel, I mean, no problem. There's not a big problem to kill the female buffalo. Come on, you know. If you have a daring to kill male buffalo, then of course female buffalo is something, okay, few people will be making noise, but doesn't matter. I will be killing female buffalo, no problem. I mean, I wouldn't care what people talk about at the back. I don't care, because I have to eat meat. So that's it, you know. So my addiction says, or my sort of desire says, come on, go ahead. What's wrong with it? So that sort of thing, you know. And if you can kill an animal that has been living with you for whole life, and animal loves you too much. Animal, like whenever you go out, okay, animal those animals are not, I have to say, indoor animal, okay, outdoor animal, and they are there. When you go out, they will make such a big noise to welcome you, you know, to acknowledge you that you guys are coming out. Wow, how are you? Hi, you know, good morning, whatever, you know. That's the reason they are making such a noise. And they wanted to sort of, you know, come, and they all, from their own sort of way, they will do all sorts of action to welcome you, to sort of love you that much. And you spend with them so many days and years and years and years. At the end, you dare to kill them. That means they are, you know, they are like your part of your family, but you dare to kill them. So then, if you really used to kill them very nicely, very happily, very daringly, very, you know, easily, you know, comfortably, then one day, why can't you kill your son, your children? Why not? I mean, that's also, you know, similar, even though you wouldn't say same, but similar. To my understanding, it's like really the same. I myself, I never had a child of myself, children of myself, but I mean my family, human family member and non-human family member, I mean I treat them 100% same, and they treat me 100% same, even more better. Non-human family member is much more even affectionate, more loving, more sort of really genuinely care than the human a family member. So if that is so, then you dare to kill the non-human part of family member, then one day why can't you kill your family member? I can't see any big reason. So that is the reason. Now the human also, we don't really have that much of affection, between the family members. So that is why what is happening is, secretly you have to understand that is because we start wrongly. We start putting our sort of like our own sort of intellectual sort of knowledge, and we start to sort of like we pretend we are very smart. So then we say, this part I think you can eat, this part you can't eat. That sort of thing. You start sort of being very smart. That is the reason. I mean, to the Buddhist community, the most smartest person is the Buddha. And Buddha said, don't do it. Love everybody. Even though physically you can't love some of the animals. For example, for me, a snake. I can't go and pet a snake because I'm so afraid. But snake also needs to be included in your love, in your compassion. All the animals. Some animals you don't like also, maybe, but doesn't matter. You dislike, okay, but you put under the umbrella of your love and your compassion. That is a very great way of, great way of establishing the humanity, Humanity needs to be sort of like built very carefully and very smartly. But then we don't do that. We start wrongly. We start that, we start making a lot of the separation between the same animal, the same beings. So that is the reason why four immeasurable thought needs to be practiced very badly. Very, very badly. And in order to do that very nicely, we should not be using our own sort of like our own sort of so-called our own kind of smartness. We don't have that much of smartness anyway, so we should not be sort of like telling ourselves by the kind of nonsense thing. For example, when we talk about that, many people argue, oh, rat always eat my belongings, so rat is something I can kill, I want to kill. I think rat is something we should kill, isn't it? Or something like that, I mean, rat is something that is very, very nasty. So, again, you are starting to using your perception of something else. So, rat. So that if you can kill the rats, then why can't you kill any kind of mouse? There's a lot of mouse that running around. So you kill the mouse. So then if you can kill the mouse, then there is another animal that why can't you kill or something. Then again, anyway, same thing will happen again. So that is the reason the Buddha Shakyamuni was being very smart, not only being kind. Kind is one thing that you should be kept aside, but the smart. This is what I'm saying. Not only the Buddha Shakyamuni being smart, but we also should be smart for long run. What is the most smart way of doing it? That is the thing. We have to really think about how to be genuinely smart. That is the reason why I'm saying bodhicitta is nothing but being smart. I think this morning maybe I didn't say that, but yesterday maybe I said somewhere, I can't remember where. But I said Buddhist, the bodhicitta is a smartness. Bodhicitta is smart. People should not think like this, The people think that, bodhicitta is a loving kindness is the bodhicitta. Loving kindness. Yes, loving kindness is also definitely is a part of the bodhicitta, but that's not all. Loving kindness may be practicing by many people. Loving kindness is there. I am so kind, I am so loving. She is loving. She is a loving mother. He is a loving father. Yes. And this dog is very loving. That animal is very loving. Loving kindness is there. Some of them has naturally. Some of them has, maybe they have, religiously they are very kind. They are very, very loving. Be it religiously, be it naturally, it doesn't matter. Loving kindness is something, but that's not the only one. Smart, that is the thing. On top of everything, you have to be smart. You have to be really, genuinely smart. So when we think about these kind of teachings, check nicely, deeply, without saying small things, without sort of involving in a small personal problems. But just generally think about it. It's amazing, how smart the teaching of the Buddhist teaching, I would say. It's a very smart. I mean, if you think deeply, for example, compassion and loving kindness, we say, as I said, I think just a while ago I said, there's a two reason. One reason, first reason I told you is that animal, all the beings are being your relative, your mother, your father. So therefore, mother-like animal, you always say mother-like all the beings. All the beings are mother-like. In the sutra, when you read this, it's very clearly said, mother-like animal, all the beings. What they say, mother-like, mother-like all the sentient beings. And so many people say, I don't love mother. Mother is not so important to us. Why Buddhists always say mother-like all the sentient beings? What is this? I don't like, that sort of thing, Many of my new students, they also argue with that. I mean, nothing wrong with it, but nothing wrong with you have a sense of argument, which is, I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. I think, the arguments are very welcome anyway, but it's a sense of, what do you call that? It's a debate. So no problem to have the debate on. But, actually, they have their own sort of agenda, own personal agenda, so that all the personal sort of a personal thing, small thing, they put into the teaching of the Lord Buddha, and then they just make a lot of kick a big fuss out of it. But that should not be done like that. But generally, deeply, you have to think, and how does it go about? You will understand. For example, mother-like animal, mother-like sentient beings. When they say that, mother-like means like these, like for example, whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. But the people, all the sentient beings, almost all the sentient beings, like if you watch in a National Geographic, Animal Planet, and all these things, all the animals, maybe those animals who are very, very, very rude and very nasty animals, they are like very ignorant, very nasty, very, very, but they also fully depends on the mother, and mother will be looking after them. Mother will take care of them. You see. So since we are believer in a life, next life and the previous life, we all, like all the sentient beings, are nourished. The mother looked after it, and of course you will understand. Every mother has been looking after the children, and they really sacrifice their life for their children. You can see all the animals, all the dumbest, stupidest, like a dull and the worst animals also, they love their children. And also in human being also, even though you say you don't like your mother, but if you have a child, would you love him or not? You definitely will love. Anyway, it's I don't know, some of them, I don't know, exceptional, but generally, you love your children. You love your child. You can give your life to your child. So that makes that should be the kind of a knowledge, and to make you understand that everybody needs to be equally treated. That's all. That's the kind of thing that should be telling you. If you really genuinely investigate in that, you will know. You will know. But if you just you put your agenda, your personal agenda, and then my mother was not good, and this and that, then I mean that's an obstacle. That's an obstacle. If you don't want that, you should see this as an obstacle. So you should put it in aside, and then you should really try to understand from a genuine point of view, from a general point of view, and then you should implement it and try to understand, and you will definitely understand, because you are smart. So your smartness should really be like a like a created or activated, and then without being sort of like a influenced by the obstacle. So that is the way that you should be doing. So that is the reason why one of the reason why we all should be loving everybody. That is the thing. And then of course when you say the life is next life and the previous life, also this is very much the issue of the bodhicitta. You need to know from genuinely, you need to know that there is a life, next life, there is a previous life. And all these things also should be sort of understood. But that you will definitely, these days there is not much of a problem. You can use the scientist also. Scientifically you will be this is understandable. Nowadays, scientifically that is proved. Slowly it is proving, as there's not much of a problem. Before, let's say hundreds of years ago, it's a bit of a problem, to sort of like make people to understand that there is a next life, there's a previous life, because scientifically also they are not really they are advanced. They are not very much advanced, and then religion or whatever, the Buddhist followers, and who are like a religious followers, they are also not getting along with the scientists very much. They hate each other. So therefore, like a dialogue is not really happening. So therefore, we can't. We as a religious people or the spiritual people cannot convince the scientists. Scientists cannot convince you, and scientists themselves, they don't understand the next life, previous life. They're not advanced. So this is nowadays, whenever I see, I go to a scientist, like a science kind of a conference and meetings and all these things, I always say, and also they say that too, they themselves, they admit that the Lord Buddha Shakyamuni, for instance, was already a scientist, 2000, and unknowingly, unconsciously, he's already a scientist, 2,500 or 600 years ago already he was a scientist, they say. So now they're coming to know that that is the fact. That is the fact. So so that is not a very much problem nowadays. Nowadays, the problem is that now individually we are welcoming our obstacles. That is the problem. So we welcome our obstacle and say, let our mind to sort of figure too much. Let our mind to sort of to tell you too many things, and then then your practice will be carried away by the obstacle, and then your practice will never be sort of succeed, especially bodhicitta practice. And bodhicitta practice, if the bodhicitta practice is not going to be succeed, and then after that, as a result, the Vajrayana practice will never be able to succeed. That is happening actually. We have a lot of problems, in our society, in our Buddhist society also. So many years of the Buddhist practice and Vajrayana practices and mantras and tantras and I don't know whatever, Gana chakras, etc., etc. We have been doing all sorts of things, yet we have not been really receiving any sort of a result or anything. Why? Because we have not been developing bodhicitta. Before that, we have not been developing the refuge, the Vinaya practices. No Vinaya practices done, and to start with, and then the bodhicitta was not been done very well, very successfully. So therefore, Vajrayana practice were very struggling. Many obstacles are there. Almost nothing is happening. So that is the reason. That's the reason why Buddha Shakyamuni also has given the sort of sequences, the very, very nice, very important, that path. The refuge comes first, and then the bodhicitta comes the second, then the common Vajrayana path, then the uncommon Vajrayana path, then secret Vajrayana path, which is of course the Mahamudra, and then maybe the Dzogchen, etc., etc. Everything is very much like a sequences. So all the 9 yanas, if you like, all 9 yanas comes very nicely. So this is the thing. So all the beings, all the mother-like beings, and immeasurable thoughts, immeasurable. There's no measurement in the sky. So that's the reason some text says that as the sky, the beings are, that wherever the sky goes, the beings are there. There's no sort of sky, no sky means no space that where there is no animal, no beings. This is what Buddha Shakyamuni said. This is also one of the reasons, Buddha Shakyamuni was being a scientist already, because 2,600 years ago, Buddha Shakyamuni said already that there is no space, that there is no being. You can't find any space, any tiny space where there is no beings. Buddha Shakyamuni said already. And nobody knew that then. Only Buddha Shakyamuni said. But then, nowadays, scientists, the skill of the science, they developed, quite advanced. So then they start to know now. They're not Buddhist. Maybe they are non-believer at all. They're blank. They're really blank. They don't believe anything. But they start to know now there is lots of animals, lots of beings everywhere. There is hardly any space in the universe that there is no beings. Now they're starting to know. They say, many of my, not many, but some of my friends are scientists, and they start to know these things. Now from, I don't know, whatever, they have a machine They have a technology, advanced technology. They start to know this. So then when they start to look at the book, look at the doctrine of the Lord Buddha, they say, wow, how come, They feel a little jealousy also, How come we didn't know? We knew recently, but this guy knew already 2,000 something years ago, something like that, So I'm not promoting the Buddha Dharma, okay? I'm just, it sounds like I'm promoting the Lord Buddha, I'm promoting the Buddha Dharma, or I'm sort of like advertising like that, But no, it's a fact, So that's the thing, that's the reason why the four immeasurable thoughts are coming. And now, let's say it in Tibetan version. That's a page number 30. I don't necessarily sort of like a interest in doing Tibetan version of these things because you don't know anything what's going on, So that, you are copying bird singing, Birds are like singing, and then you say like that, Doesn't really mean anything, but then yet we are doing it. Why? Because the transmission is in the Tibetan. This thing, what do you call that? Transmission is in Tibetan anyway, Tibetan language. So therefore, there's no choice. You have to do it. Otherwise, it doesn't really make any sense. It's much better to have a Spanish, much better to have it in English or any local language. It's much better. I always say that the translation is very important, and the translator is very important before translation. Translator who has really knowledge, deep knowledge of the Buddhism, and deep knowledge of like a bodhisattvas and all these things, and deep knowledge of how the things has to be put in, and that needs to be very, very. The previously Berochana, the Lotsawa Berochana and Kawa Palsek and all these things, and also the new Lotsawa like Marpa and Lotsawa Rinchen Zangbo, this new Lotsawa, and the elder Lotsawa Berochana, Kawa Palsek, all these things, and in all these persons, people are enlightened. For example, Virochana is enlightened, and the Guru Padma Sambhava even said, the Lotsawa Virochana is even more enlightened than me, he said. So, that sort of thing, So these Lotsawa, or these translator, Lotsawa means translator, nothing, translator is not a big deal. But those days, Lotsawas are very much enlightened. So therefore they translate the doctrine by doctrine, the books and books and books and books from India, from Sanskrit and Pali and all these things into Tibetan. So now if we want to translate Tibetan to Mexican or something, then you have to have an educated Lotsawa, educated translator. Educated means like not only educated but enlightened Lotsawa, something like a Virochana. Otherwise, it is very, very difficult, very, very difficult. And it is very, very good to, if you have, it's this way, it's very nice. Why? Because then you will know what is happening. Not only just a following sound, but really it has some meaning. You know what it's all about. You know it. And then if you know everything what's happening there, then you're like a, how do you say, the circulation or the vibration or whatever you may call, the something definitely will be like your bindu, your channel, your bindu, your subtle bindu, your whatever tilaka, everything will be like a moved. It will be developed. And very sort of like your devotion also will be moved, the moved and developed very nicely, very vividly, very quickly. Very nice, That is the reason why we have to be translating into the Sanskrit books need to be translated into Tibetan, because Tibetan they wanted to practice, and then they can't really sort of like stand the Sanskrit, because they don't know. Up until now, even though they say, oh, I am, I learned Sanskrit very well, but they don't know. I know many of my colleagues, they they claim themselves as like an expert in a Sanskrit. But when I ask, what is this, what is this in our mantra, you say, what is this, please tell me. They don't know, So, there are many things that you don't know. So that it's much better if you have a Lotsawa, if you have a great translator like a Birochana or Lotsawa Rinchen Zambo or something like that, then they translate for us. So they translate very nicely, very, very nicely. They spend like months and years to translate one single book. Then they do this, and then sometimes they even go to India to translate that and practice that part of the doctrine. They translate, they practice that, they get the transmission, then they come to Tibet, then they experientially they share the knowledge, and then they give you the transmission. So that's a very, very, very subtle thing that they are doing. So we take it very easy, but we shouldn't. We shouldn't be shouldn't be taking the shortcut. We should be also doing nicely. So we should really find some really some good motivated people who wanted to be a translator, and who really has a heart and quality to be translating. So they should be, he or she, I don't know, whoever, they should really be then learning how to translate, and then translate very well into the Spanish or English or whatever. I think that is very much needed. Some Rinpoches, some Tibetan Rinpoches also, they were trying their best to sort of form a community, I think, a kind of Lotsawa community. They set up a kind of a group, let's say 10, 20 groups. Some of them are from America, some of them are from Mexico, I don't know. And some of them are from European country, and some of them are from Australia. Then they group, and then they learn, they talk. I think I overheard maybe that there is some kind of a group that people come together and they do this. It's a beautiful job. It really needs to be done nicely like that. So it's much better. You don't really have to then chant Tibetan. No point. You don't have to chant the Tibetan. But unfortunately, translations are not good. That is the reason why you have to stick with the Tibetan. B, translation, not only translation, but then the Tibetan has a transmission, and English doesn't have a transmission. So that is the reason why the Tibetan needs to be done. That is the thing. So that is the reason why we have to do in Tibetan also at the same time of doing the local language. Semjene de ta den juruji dungal ju ta tal juruji dewa tam da min dalasho da dan dal ve dan yamasho semjen de ta den juruji dungal ju ta tal juruji Deva dam dami dalasho Chadan dal vedanyasho Semjen de dan dan juraji Dungal judan dal juraji Deva dam dami dalasho Chadan dal vedanya amsho. after understanding a little bit about the bodhicitta, of course tomorrow also we will be talking about the bodhicitta quite extensively, because bodhicitta is most important, most important, to my understanding, to me, to tell you truth. All these mantras and tantras, practice of mudras, etc., I think, bodhicitta is more important, far more important, rather than the tantra, mantra, all these things. I'm not going against to tantra. I'm not going against to the Vajrayana, but for us, if we do not know the what do you call that, bodhicitta to develop, then tantra, the mantra will never take you to anywhere. It doesn't take you anywhere. So that's the problem. And now in Vajrayana, just a while ago, in the earlier session, somebody asked me, where's Lama, Lama, where's Guru? And I think when you talk about Lama, I think that it's much better to sort of use Sanskrit language. Guru is much better. But Guru is also sometimes, there is one kind of a joke that the people say that, the Australian Guru is a kangaroo. So, so that is the thing. So, Guru can be very much like a joked also. And I came to know lately, lately I came to know that back in Nepal and back in India, I think sometimes they call it Guruji. And I said, I was looking, Guruji, and calling to whom? Maybe not me, but who? And then the taxi driver, or the car driver, bus driver, they are Guruji, So, their language is, very funny. So they start to call the driver as a Guruji, which is also not bad, but especially big bus, so many people are there, so I don't know, 30, 40, 65 at least, 65 lives depends on this driver. So he is really a Guruji, It's not a very bad idea to call him Guruji. And the same, in Chinese also they call it Sifu. And then some part of China, they Sifu, they call Sifu to the driver also. So it's a kind of a funny thing, Driver is known as a Sifu, and master, the Guru, is also Sifu. So, it's interesting anyway. There is some interesting things going on. However, we have to, the preliminary practice, for example. Mahamudra has a two session, the preliminary practice and the main practice of the Mahayana, Mahamudra. So preliminary practice, we talk about the preliminary practice. The first thing is the common preliminary practice and the uncommon preliminary practice. So common practice is very, very important to start with. So common practice of Ngondro preliminary practice is to start to sort of know, to start to sort of understand how precious human beings are. So we are human beings. So we have to appreciate the fact that we are a human being. That is the first, the most important thing that you have to understand. So as I said this morning, appreciation comes. Appreciation applies, very much so. Right now we don't appreciate that badly who we are, doesn't matter. We feel, instead of appreciating, we feel something dirty about ourselves. We feel something very bad, guilty, and we are not good. I'm not good. Full of bad deeds are done. Very bad, I'm bad, So that's the kind of thing that we have. We have notion. That is something wrong, already wrong, very wrong. And speaking about that, some people say, this is not bad. It's good to have something notion of you being bad, because you have done something bad. So you recognize that you realize that you have done something bad. So you are now bad boy, bad girl. And you realize that is the fact. You have to realize it. Otherwise, how you confess? Confess need to be done based on understanding, based on realization. And you realize what? You realize that you are a very bad person. So of course, again, here we go, argument. But actual fact, it is, yes, in a way it is true, but actual fact that is not necessarily true that way. Your bad deeds, for example, maybe you are stealing something, or maybe you are sexual misconduct, or maybe you are lying. So you can say, okay, now I'm bad. But from Buddhist point of view, you are not bad. Your deeds are bad. That is very important. Your deeds are bad. And why your deeds are bad? Your deeds are bad because of your afflictive emotion, wild afflictive emotion. And your wild afflictive emotions are, very much wild and very much like activated. Why? Because of your ego. And why your ego is so strong and so sort of like so dominating? Why? Because you feel, you have a misunderstanding upon your I. There is no I, but you have a misunderstanding that there is I. Even though you don't find, no one ever since, I don't know, countless of the years, countless of the time, until now, there is no history that anyone in this world did manage to find the I. No one found I. But everybody, every single person has the notion that I being very solidly there. So that was the big misunderstanding. And therefore, then the anger solidly built. Therefore, the desire solidly built. All the afflictive emotions are solidly built. And then, through that, then the deeds are going to be very nonsense, very, very, very negative. Then all the fightings comes, stealing comes, lying comes, greediness comes, everything. And all these things comes. But actual fact, from a Buddhist point of view, you are not wrong. So you have to keep yourself very clean. That is the philosophical as well as practical, theoretical, everything is from varieties of corners. You look from a point of view of varieties of corners. You should see yourself as a very sort of okay. It is true also. You are primordially okay. Primordially cannot be contaminated. Primordially you are a Buddha. From a point of view of Buddhism, you can say Buddha. But if you don't really necessarily need to say Buddha, but primordially you are okay. But you are not okay. Why? Because you are not okay right now. You're sort of like you feel that you are bad, but you shouldn't be saying you are bad. Your deeds are bad. Okay, so therefore, other religion they welcome guilty. But we don't welcome guilty, the guilt. The guilt is never welcomed. Guilt is never welcomed. Even though you are maybe a killer, you are a robber, and you are such a bad person, but you shouldn't be feeling guilt. Guilt will kill all the rest of the path of the practices. That itself is really the biggest obstacle. But what you have to do is you have to change your deeds. Your deeds are bad. Your deeds are causing problems. Not only problem to you, but problem to the society. So therefore, you have to change your deeds. And in order to change your deeds, you have to know how bad the deeds are, what you are doing. What you have been doing, very bad. So this is a negative deeds. I'm not going to do this anymore. That is the promise and the vow that you have to take on the basis on the bad deeds, on the basis on troublemaker. That sort of understanding needs to be there. So what I'm saying right now here is that the common preliminary practice has 4 different sort of things, 4 varieties of practices. The first practices, or the first sort of acknowledgement, first acknowledgement or understanding needs to be first understanding needs to be understood as a human realm, the appreciating human. You are the fact that you are a human being, that is very much appreciated. You need to be appreciated, very much so. Otherwise, you would not be able to practice. How smart the animals are doesn't matter. Animal cannot start practicing Buddha Dharma. That's for sure. Maybe indirectly they can do a little bit, but directly they are not. Indirectly, like my dogs can go for circumambulance for the Swayambhunath, for example. I take all of them in the holy day. I take all of them for the walking circumambulation. So they are doing something anyway. Poor guy, poor things. But that's indirectly. But they themselves maybe not knowing anything. It's just why this guy is taking us all walk. Very tiring, Yeah, some of them are so small, they have to walk like so many kilometers. And some of them are too big that they are just very tired, because so fat, so big, I have lots of Saint Bernard. So the dog Saint Bernard, they don't want to walk, they just want to sleep. That's it. So they walk. Very tired. So they don't have any conscious, so any knowledge what they are doing. So animals are very, very beautiful, but still, when it comes to Buddha Dharma, they are zero. So we are, we as a human being, we are very lucky. we can, discriminate what is to be done, what not to be done. I mean, if we put effort, we have a given gift, that we have a lots of wisdom. So it's a very, very kind of subject to be appreciated, to be born as a human being. So this is something we have to really be cultivating all the time. How lucky we are, how fortunate we are. So in that case, what I'm trying to say is that through that way, you will know that you are very, very good. Even though your deeds are not good, but you are good. You're born as a human being, so you are good. You are good fortune kind of thing, really. So this is the thing, appreciative. For example, I would say, this is my own additional kind of thing. For example, we have to appreciate the fact that we can see. If we can't see, just close your eyes and they see, look. It's very difficult, and you cannot even you cannot see Guru, you cannot see Sangha, you cannot see your parents, you cannot see your son, your daughter, your wife, your husband, nothing. You cannot even see your mug, So the fact, that you have to appreciate, in terms of appreciation, you have to appreciate the fact that you can see. It's such a big thing, but we don't think that is a big thing. But it's such a big thing, such a big issue actually. But we don't think. So this is ignorant. This is ignorant, nothing but ignorant. And we have to be we have to appreciate the fact that we are walking. Otherwise we have to sit on the wheelchair all the time. And it's a big issue. But we are able to walk. We have to appreciate. And we have to be so happy all the time, Just thinking about the fact that we have legs. We have 2 legs and we can walk wherever we want. Wow. That's such a big issue. Such a gift. You have to appreciate, And these 2, only 2, don't talk about any other thing. Just having 2 eyes and 2 legs is good enough to make yourself happy entire life. Why you should be sad? Why you should be, why you should be so greedy? You need that. I want that, but I can't. I want this. I can't achieve. I'm looking for this for so many years. Up until now, I don't get it. Why? So bad. Screaming and complaining. Why? You can't complain. You just think about these 2 eyes and 2 legs. So good, so happy. That is the reason why I'm saying appreciation makes you so happy. And appreciation is really the genuine way of making your life very appreciative. So therefore, generally speaking, we have to appreciate the fact that we were born as a human being. Maybe not the best human being, but doesn't matter. We are human being. It's such a good thing. Just simply think about those animals that are going to be slaughtered tomorrow morning. How many times? I don't know. How many cruelly. They are so cruel, the way the people treat them. Yesterday also, my friend, he has a dog shelter, and we were talking about the dogs and all these things. How many dogs are abused? How many dogs are going to be killed? Using lots of different sorts of method, putting poisons and knocking on the door, knocking on the head, and kill and whatnot. They're so rude, so cruel, and they're so nasty way of killing. And why the dogs need to be so cruelly killed, yet no government, no NGO, nobody, no police, nobody says anything. You can do anything. Of course, generally from Buddhist point of view, it's a karma, okay? But not only that, I mean, it is a karma, but how bad, how sad that karma is. And how happy we are, how happy karma that we are experiencing. Nobody will be knocking our head off or cutting our head off. No one. At least that much you can appreciate a lot. So this is the thing. Human is something that we have to appreciate. Not because human beings are such a great. Human beings, generally speaking, human beings are doing much more worse than the animals. Animals, they're not terrorists. I don't think so. They're not destroying the nature that much. Little bit maybe. But they're not destroyer. Human beings, the destroyer. Human beings are really like much more naughtier than the animals. Definitely. But that is different issue that we are talking about. So it's right now we have to be appreciating the fact that we are being born as a human being is a totally different issue. We human beings, what we can do if we put an effort, we can be a very good sort of like a source of happiness. For example, if we manage to be a very good boy, we can really turn the world into pleasant place to live in. We can do lots of good things, and we can through development of immeasurable thoughts. And the animals cannot see immeasurable thoughts, for example, cannot practice immeasurable thoughts, cannot practice bodhicitta, cannot practice refuge, cannot practice vajrasattva, cannot practice guru yoga, that sort of thing. From that point of view, we are very fortunate. So that is the appreciation that you have to build, the first one. And the second one is the impermanence. As I said this morning, impermanent needs to be appreciated or see. Life is there, human life is there, but it's impermanent. We have to, because of that, we have to put a lot of effort to sort of practice urgently. So the impermanent needs to be understood. Second is the impermanent. Third is the karma, cause and effect. That needs to be understood. Cause and effect. Everything is nothing but cause and effect. We are here, gathering together here. How many Mexicans are there out there? But we are the handful of people who are gathered tonight over here is because of our own karma. So we are here. Good karma or bad karma doesn't matter. But we are here. So that is the karma. Karma made us come here. So that is karma. And then the fourth one is due to the karma, then the samsara comes. The cyclic existence comes. It's because of the karma. So these four needs to be understood. All the samsara, the whole Mexico, whole world, the whole America, whole Europe, everything is done by karma. Nothing but by karma. And karma is a very, very, very effective, very strong. And karma should not be seen as an energy, or should not be seen as something like a magic. It is just a man-made karma. Karma literally means movement. So we move, we did it. We did it. So karma is the doing from us. That's it. We move and then it happens. So that's it. So we created our world and we experience it and we enjoy, we suffer. That's it. Due to our own karma. Due to our own good karma, we enjoy. Due to our bad karma, we suffer. So for the future, if we want to be enjoying, then better be good boy. That's it. And if we want to suffer, better be bad girl, bad boy. Then we suffer. No problem. So that's the thing. That's very simple. In a way, it's a very simple. In another way, karma is a very big topic. Very, very difficult to sort of talk about it. Even Buddha said, he himself had a very difficult to express about the karma. So, of course, for us it's almost impossible to talk about the karma, to understand thorough karma. Very difficult. But in very, very superficially, very shallow way of saying, it's a very simple. You do good, the result will be good. You don't do good, then the result also not be very good. So that's the kind of thing. Very easy. Anyway, it is a creation of yourself. The world is creation of yourself. No, there is no creator. According to the Buddhism, there is no creator. Non-Buddhist, most of the non-Buddhist, they believe in a creator, I think. Some of the non-Buddhist religion, they don't believe in a creator also. But most of the non-Buddhists, they do believe in a creator. So create. The world is created by God. The world is created by somebody else. So this is the way that non-Buddhist way of saying that. But the Buddhist way, as you all know, there is a karma created. Karma means we created. We created, and then that's it. So how do we create it, for example? It's a simple, like what this morning I said, or this morning or this earlier session, the flower. This flower is a very beautiful flower. I created because I think this is a beautiful flower. So I created beautiful flower. But for you guys, some of you guys can say, this is a very bad, very ugly. I don't like this to be on table. So this flower is very ugly. Ugly flower is created by you. You created. So you created by you created ugly flower. I created beautiful flower. So it's a creation. Ugly flower is not existing to me. To me, the beautiful flower is exist. And to you, the beautiful flower not exist, but the ugly flower instead. So this actually means, when you really go secretly deep into the penetrates into this plant, flower, emptiness. It doesn't hold the existence of the beautiful flower, and it doesn't hold the existence of the ugly flower. And then it holds what? It holds nothing. So nothingness comes. So that sort of thing. Anyway, it's a very deep and very profound, and it's very, very complicated. I don't want to talk about these things very much. But anyway, emptiness is the creation of your own mind. The you're created is a very crucial thing, and it's very important to understand. Otherwise, many people, they don't understand. They think, why? What do you mean? World is created by you. No way. How can I create the world? I'm not creating world. I'm not creating this. And there's a lot of doubt about it. And it's true also in that point of view. How can you create this big building by yourself? This big building is very solidly there. But this is not the way, not the case that you are talking about. The case that you are talking about is the objective think, the objective and the subjective. So these two are the things that you have to understand, how you sort of identify. So you give identification on the small thing and on the big thing, on the nice and the not nice. It's all interdependent, whatever they call it. Interdependent. These days I talk too much, then I can't even hear. So that's the thing. So it's very much interdependent. For example, the distance. This morning my friend over here, I said, how far from Oregon to here? Oh, it's much more closer than going to Nepal, she said. So, that's the thing. So, of course, going to Nepal, going to India from here, it's very, very far. But from Oregon to here is very, very close. But then, of course, from here to Oregon is very far compared to from here to the central of the Mexico City. From here to central, I think there's maybe a 15 minutes drive. But from here to Oregon, you have to drive, I think, 2 days or something, at least 3 days, something like that. So, the long distance doesn't exist by itself. It depends upon short distance. Short distance doesn't exist as itself. It depends on the longer distance. So, I am quite tall compared to very shorty kind of people, But I'm in front of my friend Jigme Dorje. I'm very short, Then, my length of my body doesn't exist by its own nature. This is what I'm saying. By its own nature, by its own inherently not exist. It just interdependently, yes. So it's like that, it depends upon each other. So this is the reason why it says that everything is karmically sort of created. It is not created by somebody inherently. So that is the thing. So anyway, that's the karma and the samsara. Samsara comes from the. So therefore, you want to be very careful in terms of karma. Karma, you want to create a karma, good karma, so that the world will be relatively good. Everything is relative anyway, relatively good. Ultimately, of course, there is no good, there is no bad. The good and bad also fully depends upon each other, interdependent, coordinate. So that's the reason why we all have to be very, very cautious about these 4 practices. We have to understand these 4 practices as a common wandro, common preliminary practice. And traditionally, we take several months to sort of digest, to develop this understanding. And then after developing this, then we go to the refuge, because then samsara is not exist by itself, solidly or inherently. So the samsara is also made out of karma, and karma means like interdependent, like our own sort of creation. So therefore, you will be like cooling down a little bit in terms of greediness, in terms of attachment, in terms of wanting. Needing is okay, but wanting, needing is okay. Needing is always there. You need water when you feel thirsty. You need food when you feel hungry. When you need clothing when you feel cold. Needing is something very much like acceptable, but wanting goes very wild, So that this wanting, this wanting, very badly wanting. So this wanting will also be cooled down, because you know that this, the samsara is of course creation of your own karma. So not only just become you yourself become a good boy and good man, good woman. Not only that, but of course you yourself become little cooling down. So then you will have a sense of taking refuge after that, because you know that there is not much of refuge out there. So you have to take refuge inside, innerly, inside. The refuge, true refuge, is definitely have to be taken. You will know out there's not much of refuge left. Everything is like inherently not exist. Whereas right now we have so many refuge that you can take out of. Money is the first refuge, Money is the first refuge, and then of course the friend is the second refuge or something. Friend is refuge, and of course the work is refuge, and the building is refuge, and the house, shelter is refuge, car is refuge, girlfriend is refuge, boyfriend is refuge. All the things are refuge, So we have not much of chance or not much of reason to take refuge under the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha. Forget it, I have plenty of beautiful refuge over here. Why should I be taking refuge under the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha? Anyway, I don't see anyway. Where is Buddha? I don't know. Where is Dharma? I don't know. What is Dharma? I don't know. Anyway, so where you will be like interested in taking refuge under the guidance of the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha? No way. I mean, if I were you, I wouldn't. Definitely. Why? This is a bothersome. It's just like a extra trouble, So that's the reason. You have to understand. Before taking refuge, you have to understand. You will understand if you go through the process of these 5 nicely, not 4, nicely. Then you will automatically understand, okay, now I should be taking refuge, because there's no refuge, not much of refuge inherently exists. Everything is beautiful, no problem. Having no problem, having them around, no problem. Love it, lovely, it's okay. But can you take refuge under them? No. They are not inherently exist. Very much interdependent, very much like karmically sort of created. And so I have to take a refuge. So the refuge is, then the Buddha comes, and the Dharma comes, and the Sangha comes. And the inner refuge, what I have not spoken about the inner refuge. The inner refuge is the mind itself, is the Buddha. You know that, yeah? You're taking refuge to the mind, yourself, which I was just mentioning right now. Yourself inherently or primordially good. Don't say you are bad. I said that, yeah? So that is that goody I'm talking about was the Buddha, is the Buddha, that you have to understand. Yourself, your purity state of your own mind, your clarity state of the mind, your reality state of yourself. That is the, whatever you may call, it's the Buddha. If you like, you can call it Buddha. Whatever you would like to call, it doesn't matter. You can call it God. If you are very much used to call God, so then you can call God, my God. So when you say my God, it's a habit, habit you say that. You don't know where the God is, but you there's a habit to say, my God, So the my God is goodness of yourself, like really the essence of yourself is the God, is the Guru, is the Buddha. So the process of understanding it itself is the Dharma, and then the the practices, when you physically do practices of that, is the Dharma, the Sangha. Sangha is we. We should be the Sangha. I should be the Sangha. So you should realize everything within yourself. So this is the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha that you have to take refuge. Not out there, inwardly. So then refuge comes. That from refuge, then we call it uncommon preliminary practice. So the refuge comes. Refuge is the essence of the practice of the Theravadan, as I mentioned. Theravadan practice starts only from that point up. Then Theravadan practice, refuge comes. Then, the refuge is the essence of the Theravadan. That actually means refuge vow is the Theravadan vow actually. But of course, you can take the refuge as a Mahayana vow also. It is can be done with the different sort of application. Then second issue is the bodhicitta development. The bodhicitta development. That is the second uncommon preliminary practice of Mahamudra, is the bodhicitta. And then the third step of the preliminary practice is third step of the preliminary practice is that then the Vajrayana comes. The Vajrayana is starting from the Vajra Sattva recitation. Vajra Sattva recitation. You have to recite 100,000 or whatever, So this is then you have to, from there you have to get initiation from the Vajrayana initiation. So the Vajra Sattva practice starts. And then the next one is, in terms of the accelerating the Vajrayana practices, you need to accumulate a lot of merit. So then a process of accumulating merit is the mandala offering. Then the final is the Guru Yoga. You have to develop the sense of Guru Yoga as a real main preliminary practice of the Mahamudra. The main preliminary practice of Mahamudra itself is the Guru Yoga. Sense of Guru Yoga is very, very important. Guru Yoga is very important. That's the reason we have a Guru Yoga also given here. So that is the Guru Yoga. Guru Yoga is very much connected with the Guru. That is the reason why I'm saying the Guru is, like I was joking a little bit about the Guru, the connotation of the Guru. But anyway, the Guru is definitely a very, very important issue in Vajrayana, because the Guru is the essence of the, universe. Guru is the essence of the universe. And Guru is primordially Vajradhara, primordially Buddha. So when Guru comes in the form of a human being, it is very much like a fortunate for us. Otherwise, the Guru Vajradhara cannot be seen. Guru Buddha cannot be seen. As I mentioned before, Buddha Shakyamuni was a very great master, but he has gone. He has sort of like left his relative body, and no more there. We can't see. Now the Buddha comes in the form of a human being that that communicates in the human language, and knows the scene of us And it's a very sort of like a common kind of form that he's coming in to liberate ourselves, which is very, very lucky, very fortunate. So we have to understand that, which is very deep understanding, which is not really easy to understand. So that is the reason why the not too easy Vajrayana practice is not easy. That is the thing. Vajrayana thing is not easy. To start with Guru, we already swimming in a big ocean. You know, if we talk about Guru being a Vajradhara, how do we understand? No, he's not a Guru Vajradhara. He's a great Guru, yes, he's a very nice Guru. He's a very nice Guru. He's much better than kangaroo. He's much better than, at least he's a human being. He's smart, he's clever, he's educated, he's kind, he's loving, very nice. But he's not a Vajradhara, come on, That's it. That's a great obstacle already. Because you can't see him as or him or her, whoever is your Guru, is not Vajradhara. You cannot see him. You can see him as a man, as a woman, but not as a Vajradhara. Come on, what are you talking about? He's not a Buddha. I can't see him as a Buddha. He's not a Buddha. I can see him exactly as a man. So of course, how do you start practicing Mahamudra? Impossible. How do you enter into the Vajrayana? Impossible. So that's the reason why Guru Yoga, before Guru Yoga, accumulation of merit, mandala offering, before mandala offering, thousands of hundreds of millions of times of Guru Vajrasattva recitation. Before that, the millions and billions of recitation of bodhicitta development needs to be taken a lot of time. Before that, you have to really be going through the Hinayana practices, the Theravadan practices of the refuge, along with the prostration. You need to prostrate how many times with the one-pointed mind of devotion towards the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. You do it like a prostration millions, billions of times. Je Tsongkhapa, Je Danyi Chimbu Tsongkhapa did how many prostration? There is nowadays we prostrate on the carpet sometime, and sometime people they call it chakpang. We have a wooden panel for prostrate. Maybe after prostrating one set of refuge 100,000 times, then the wooden panel become a little bit of slippery. That's all. A little bit shiny. That's all. But Je Tsongkhapa did. He cannot afford to sort of have a panel because it's too many of panel he needed. So he did it on the rock, and the rock itself become like a human picture. I mean, what you call it, imprint of human. Because he did it so many times that it's become a little down already. I have seen a picture. I didn't go physically because I've never been in Tibet. Anyway, I was born in India. I have never been in Tibet, so I have seen picture. And also, Je Tsongkhapa did a mandala offering on a rock, and then the whole rock was finished. So many, like 100,000 is nothing. Millions, billions of times he did it. So these are the good example. So if they have to do that, many, why don't we have to do refuge prostration that many? And why don't we have to do double? We have to do double than what they did. We have to understand that. We are not even doing 100,000. 100,000 of prostration. Oh, la 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 la. Really, it's impossible. No, it's nothing. We have to do millions, billions, If Je Tsongkhapa needed to do that many, we need to do double at least, So that sort of thing. You need to do all these things so that afterwards, finally, what will happen is, Guru seen, Guru Vajradhara. Should not be any problem. You will understand right away, straight away. This is exactly what's happening in the Guru Yoga. The yogis, most of the yogis, you read the biography, you will see. When they see or when they hear the name of Guru, they faint. They faint. They sort of faint out of their joys, their happiness, their realization. They faint. And then they just go to see them, and that's it. That's the Guru Vajradhara. There's no problem. From the first moment, they have no problem. So they will have no problem for the duration of practices of Vajrayana. There's no problem. Whatever the Guru acts, doesn't matter. Like Marpa did such a bad things to Milarepa. Doesn't matter at all. Milarepa is strong to take whatever the Marpa did to him. Doesn't matter because of his this thing, preliminary practices, whatever. So that sort of thing, preparation should be done nicely, so that when it comes to Guru Yoga, no problem. So therefore, before Mahamudra, the Guru Yoga is very much the essential part of the practice, because Guru Yoga is like a yoga practice to understand Guru within yourself. That is the thing. So that is something that you have to understand. Yoga actually means like it's a practice, it's an exercise. So you have to exercise yourself, you have to be familiarized to yourself with the Guru, with the teacher being a Guru, and the Guru being a Vajradhara. 3 steps you have to understand. So these are the very important Nimanakaya Guru, Sambhogakaya Guru, and the Dharmakaya Guru. Nobody? Very good. Have a break? Okay, come, one.
Mi pregunta es, el gurú es inseparable del Buda, el Buda es el gurú mismo. Al gurú lo visualizamos como Vajradhara, pero hay textos que dicen que el gurú somos más afortunados de tener la presencia del gurú físicamente que al Buda mismo. Mi pregunta es, ¿al gurú lo visualizamos con las cualidades de Vajradhara o como Vajradhara mismo? Gracias.
Very good question. What you say, the Guru, it fully depends on your devotion. If you have a devotion, then you are not really recommended to, you don't really need to visualize Vajradhara, Amitabha, or whatever, Tara, Devi. You don't have to, because you have a devotion. But if you have a doubt in your devotion, then you have to visualize in the form of Vajradhara and Guru Yoga and all the Guru, different forms. Because the different forms, if you change the forms, then you'll have a little bit like a more sort of deep depth in your meditation, in your visualization. And then it'll be like a more sort of devotion goes a little bit like a more deeper and more profound. This is what they say. And in my case, I don't know why, but I feel it's much more easier for me to visualize my Guru in the form of human form. And it's maybe it's because my devotion is okay, devotion is not that bad, or I don't know. But generally there is in text it says that if you have a devotion, if you have a strong devotion, means devotion in the, okay, let's talk about the devotion a little bit, because you don't know devotion again, you know. I'm talking about devotion, but what are you talking about? Devotion, what does that mean, you know? Again, devotion actually means, in this case, of course in English devote means like, I don't know, you devote your time, devote yourself and doing something. And devotion means, anyway, related to that anyway. But devotion here, what we meant to say is that devotion means you have to have no problem, you know, no problem of thinking your Guru as a Buddha. And you have, that is devotion. You will see him as a Buddha, not by eyes maybe, but with wisdom. And how do you see? Actually, how do you identify your Guru as a Buddha? There is a depth in it. You have to go a little deeper. You just cannot say he's Buddha, you know. And the people may say, your Guru is not Buddha. No, don't argue with me. He is Buddha, for sure he is Buddha. That's it. You sort of like, you ignore all the reasons. But you have to have a reason, you can't ignore it. So that the Guru you see as a Nimanakaya form of Buddha. That you have to understand. And then and his quality, his great quality of the realizations, and his great quality, all the qualities are the form of the Sambhogakaya Buddha. And then his reality, the enlightenment, his reality is really the Dharmakaya, the Guru Vajrasattva, Guru Vajradhara. So these are very important to know, that his form, Nimanakaya, quality, Sambhogakaya, and then his reality is the reality state of the Guru is the Dharmakaya. You have to understand that Om Ah Hong, the essence of 3 syllable. You have to understand very, very, very clearly. And if you do have that understanding very clear, then you don't have to visualize. You don't have to visualize Vajradhara. You don't have to visualize Vajrasattva. You don't have to visualize Guru Amitabha. You don't have to visualize in any form. Just if you do not understand Om Ahung, and you don't understand the Sambhogakaya, Nimanakaya, the Dharmakaya form of the Guru, then you have to visualize. And then through visualization, it will take longer time, but you will understand. You will understand. One day you will understand. You will understand, kind of a miracle kind of a form of understanding. One of the great Guru was like in Tibet, that was the saying, you know, the great, one monk is a practitioner, very good practitioner, but he is struggling with the Guru Yoga. And he was doing Guru Yoga practices, and the Guru instructed him to visualize Guru Vajradhara. And he was visualizing for many years. And he didn't manage, you know, he couldn't manage very easily. But then the Guru sent him back to the retreat center, and he, you know, asked him to do it, and he did it for 13 years, day and night, visualizing Guru as a Vajradhara. And then when he came back, he came back and he entered in his room, the Guru's room, and he didn't see him. He saw in his bed, there is in the Guru's bed, there is a Vajradhara statue. Vajradhara statue, very nicely sort of curved and very nice made, and he didn't see Guru. And then he went out, and his servant, the Guru's servant out there, I went there and my Guru is not there. Where is my Guru? You know, he was saying that. And then the servant, they went in and said, no, Guru is there, you please come, he's there, you please come, you go. And he went there, he can't see. So he saw Guru Vajradhara, and he didn't recognize, he saw the Vajradhara, but he didn't see Guru. He thought his Guru is not there. So then he went back again, and then again then he said, he insisted, the servant, he said, no way, he's not there. So then Guru stood up and Guru went out and said, now come. He laughed, and then he sort of took him from his hand, his arm, his wrist, and then come in. I was there. You saw me as a Vajradhara, but you didn't see me again. Your practice is wrong. 13 years you practice, but then that is wrong, because you have a Vajradhara in your meditation, but that meditation was very much attached. So your attachment did defect. It defected your meditation. So now you have to go again doing Guru Yoga without attachment. So then he sent back, I don't know how many years now, I don't know, but then how many years of Guru Yoga. And then he did manage to do the Guru Yoga, Vajradhara form, without attachment. So then he could see him in a rainbow body of the Guru Vajradhara, but then he could realize that is him. So there's a very sort of like a softened version of Guru Yoga, Guru Vajradhara. So there was a saying, there was a story going on saying something like that. It is a Sakyapa tradition anyway, but there's reality. It really happened. So therefore, these things needs to be understood very well and needs to be practiced very well. It is not so simple saying that okay, visualize Vajradhara, okay, and then you do Vajradhara, but then you have an attachment, the Vajradhara being a statue. So he saw statue, a big, huge, beautiful statue lying on his bed, but that's all. So therefore, I always say to my student when I teach some of the Vajrayana teachings of the visualizations and all these things, I say, you visualize Vajra Yogini, for example. Vajra Yogini, you shouldn't visualize Vajra Yogini exactly as you can see in the picture, a tanka, exactly like what you see in a statue. It never moves. It's always like this. That's not right. Of course, the tanka will not move because it's a painting. A statue will not move because of the statue. This is a sculpture, But the Vajra, actual Vajra Yogini is not like this. Vajra Yogini moves. Vajra Yogini talks. Vajra Yogini dances. It's not always like this. So many years, eons. It's not like that. It's totally wrong to practice by a practitioner to do like that. It's totally wrong. It's totally attachment, totally wrong, 100% wrong. So I always say, Vajra Yogini should be dancing. Vajra Yogini should be smiling at you. Guru should be smiling at you. Guru should be talking to you. For example, Vajrasattva. When you do the Vajrasattva mantra, each session you finish, Guru should be telling you, you are a good boy, you did a very good job, you did a very good job, good boy, come back, okay, do it again, you did very good job, He will tell you. You should imagine and you should know that he's telling you this. And he's really encouraging you, and he's impressing you, and he's talking, and he's in the mood of bliss. He's in the mood of appreciation. He's in the mood of giving you the blessings and all these things. If Vajradhara, Vajrayogini or Vajradhara or Vajrasattva is a statue. I mean, many good statues are coming from Nepal. So what does it do? I mean, so the attachment does that kind of mistake. This is a big mistake. So this Guru should be moving. Vajradhara should be moving. Vajrayogini should be moving. And it says in a text also, Vajrayogini is a dancing posture. Means dancing, actually. And then the fire around the Vajrayogini, it is burning. It is really the burning. It is a flame is really like a moving. It's a really flame. And Vajrayogini is dancing in the fire, inside of the fire. And that we have to understand, We have a very, wrong notion in terms of that. Okay, that's good enough for today, I think. And people are tired, I think. I feel also a little tired. So, is it good enough? Okay, good. And so then we will do the Guru Yoga and all these things tomorrow on time, little on time. So tomorrow we will go through, and then we will go through the Mahamudra teaching. Mahamudra teaching, of course, many people likes about the Mahamudra teaching. That's the reason they put this here. But liking is not the thing that it works. It works. It not necessarily works. Liking, I like this thing. I like that. But liking is not the thing. You have to have You have to have a notion that what is Mahamudra, and Mahamudra does what, and how to realize that, and that's the thing. So therefore, Mahamudra, how to realize Mahamudra? Somebody said, His Holiness Tingu Khyentse Rinpoche, he was, I don't know where. I think it's somewhere in America. I think San Francisco or whatever. He said, "Oh, I mean the organization." He says, "Oh, he's going to talk about Dzogchen teaching, for 6 days, Dzogchen teaching, Dzogchen retreat." And then he didn't talk about Dzogchen teaching even more than one hour or half an hour. That's it. All the 6 days he was talking on the preliminary practice. And then many people were disappointed, and they were saying that, there's some Sogye Rinpoche or somebody told me that. So that's the kind of thing. It is true that the Mahamudra is the same as the Dzogchen. The Dzogchen or Mahamudra needs to know all the common preliminary practice. Otherwise, all the common preliminary practice does not sort of function, or is not known, is not appreciated, is not sort of like practiced. How is Dzogchen can come? Dzogchen is the fruit of the common practices. Mahamudra is the fruit of the common preliminary practice, uncommon preliminary practice. Then the Dzogchen comes by, like one. It's a matter of one moment, And then this can be improved for many years, but Dzogchen has to be, or Dzogchen or Mahamudra has to be recognized, to sort of recognized within yourself like that, It's just a matter of 1 second. That's it. And this is the thing that you have to understand. And it's just a matter of 1 second. It's not a very long way to go. It's just there. Mahamudra is there. That is the thing. Here we are in a Mahamudra. What to teach? We are swimming in the Mahamudra. We are sort of living in the Mahamudra. So what to teach, what not to, what to sort of talk about? There's nothing, But to realize, you have to go through the accumulation of merit. You have to go through the purification, Vajrasattva purification. Not only the Vajrasattva purification, but before that you have to sort of like a prostration. It's a prostration is the process of one of the common and the best process of purification. Prostration. It's a very hard, but you have to do it. Yatra, like a pilgrimage, like a padyatra, like a walking, and then pilgrimage, holy places, and go round and round. This is also a preliminary practice to purify your negative deeds or negative karma. So all of these things counts on your Vajrayana, Mahayana, or whatever this Mahamudra practice. All these things are considered to be Mahayana practice. The Mahamudra practice. Mahamudra practice has the preliminary practice, and then the basic practice, and then the fruit practice. It comes like a ji, lam, debu. The basic, and then the path, and then the fruit. So the basic is, of course, as I mentioned, we are swimming in the ocean. That is the basic Mahamudra, base Mahamudra. It's the Mahamudra. We are talking Mahamudra. The voice is Mahamudra. The electricity is Mahamudra. The building is Mahamudra. Everything. The girl, boy, man, the woman. All these things are Mahamudra. Emotions are Mahamudra. Everything is Mahamudra. That is the base Mahamudra. But then, in order to know that, there is a path Mahamudra. The path Mahamudra contains all the uncommon and the common preliminary practices and everything. It's all a Mahamudra practices. That is the path Mahamudra. Then the fruit Mahamudra is just a matter of a second. That's it. You just don't have to talk that much. Tilopa said to Naropa, saying that he just gave a slap with his shoes, and a big slap with the shoes, and then Naropa fainted. And then after getting out of a faint, then it looks like that, up and down, and then Tilopa was saying, okay, that's my final teaching. That's it. And then when he get up, he's in Mahamudra realization. That's it. Matter of a slap. That's it. That's it. You have to understand that. That is the fact. Anyway, it's a little joke kind of thing. Like a joking kind of thing. But it's not joke. It is the fact. There's nothing much to talk about. It's just a slap. That's it. Boom. It comes. Zapatu Rinpoche also was. He said in his he realized Dzogchen because of his master beaten him. Almost died. He was beaten, and then after that he realized. He said, then after that he don't remember anything. He fainted very badly, and he remember only thing. What he remember is that he remembered the Guru. When Guru scolded him, when Guru scolded him, the Guru used him like a, what they call it in English, what they say. In Tibetan, it's like a old dog. It's like old dog. And I don't know whether maybe this is not a very much scolding word for your language, but in our language it's a very insulting language. You say old dog. That means you are like a nobody. Old dog. So his guru was scolding at him using the name of old dog. Old dog, Kirgin. We say Kirgin. So Kirgin. He scolded you, saying that Kirgin, and then beat him very badly, and then he faint. Until he faint, he beat, and then he faint. Then Guru didn't beat him anymore. And then when he wakes up, he doesn't remember anything. He just remembered the word Kirgin, you know. And then that ever since then he recognized, he realized the Dzogchen entirely, purely. So then ever since then whenever he writes a book, or he writes some advice, or he writes something very, he wrote a lot of books, you know. The Zapatu Rinpoche, he wrote a lot of books. So at the end, whatever he writes, at the end his name is Kirgin, you know. That old dog wrote this. That old dog wrote this. He doesn't use his name. Old dog is his name, you know. So he's, you know, because that was the only thing that he remembers in the period of the realization. That came along with the Mahamudra, the Dzogchen or Mahamudra. So that is really the important name he remembers. So he always calls him Kirgin. Kirgin Au Rulbuti, you know, it's always that. Au means in a lay people. Shulbu means very, very beggar. So Kirgin Au Rulbuti is very bad, you know. He always mentioned himself, putting himself very badly, you know. So that's the thing. So anyway, what I'm saying is that, you know, the Mahamudra there's nothing much to talk, and then if you try to talk much, the more you talk, you contaminate more. That's the thing. The more the more you talk, the more you get contaminated. The student get contaminated, master get contaminated, and everything is nothing much to talk about anyway. But anyway, tomorrow we will be talking about it. Oh. Thank you. Gracias. Okay, now this dedication, yes? Dedication, which number? 45? 45? 45? Say it in Mexican.
Shedun chison trinle natangim Rechenamdrol lam lagushimdu Shapek gyar tempetrashisho Tim Dushi punji jigme dorjesin Nin jeterse pen makar pengar. Quien rawan chu Drukpa chekije. Shapsum takten sheden lundrushog. Jikten. Al Papa, a la oración de larga vida al Padre de su santidad. Jikten michi lo chemberoyi. Tuje gyutrul dulkare dulvegon. Dom gachesul yatsor